Hello everyone. Welcome to the Stock Minds web channel. MercadoLibre, Nasdaq, MELI, often dubbed the Amazon of Latin America, has once again demonstrated its resilience and growth potential with a robust Q1 2025 earnings report. As the leading e-commerce and fintech platform in the region, MercadoLibre continues to capitalize on the digital transformation sweeping across Latin America. In this video, we will dive into the company's recent performance, stock valuation, growth prospects, and the risks investors should consider. About MercadoLibre. Founded in 1999 by Marcos Galperin, MercadoLibre has grown into Latin America's leading online marketplace and digital payments ecosystem. Headquartered in Montevideo, Uruguay, the company operates across 18 countries, with key markets in Brazil, Mexico, and Argentina. MercadoLibre offers a broad range of integrated services that support its expansive e-commerce and fintech operations, including Mercado Pago, a digital payments platform. The cohesive ecosystem enables MercadoLibre to meet the evolving needs of Latin America's rapidly growing digital economy and reinforces its position as a dominant force in the region. MercadoLibre financial performance. MercadoLibre's Q1 2025 financial performance highlights the company's impressive growth momentum, with revenue reaching $5.93 billion, a 36.97% increase compared to $4.33 billion in Q1 2024. Earnings per share (EPS) also surged to $9.74, reflecting a 43.66% rise from $6.78 in the same quarter last year. On a trailing 12-month TTM basis, revenue climbed to $22.38 billion, up 43.27% from $15.62 billion in Q1 2024, while TTM EPS soared by 82.4% to $40.65 compared to $22.29 a year earlier. The company also reported strong free cash flow, with TTM free cash flow per share growing 23.87% to $127.28 from $102.75. Profitability remains robust, with a gross profit margin of 52.24%, a net profit margin of 9.21%, return on assets (ROA) of 7.66%, and a strong return on equity (ROE) of 49.11%. While the debt-to-equity ratio stands at 1.54, indicating a leveraged balance sheet, it is manageable given the company's solid cash flow and earnings power. Over the past 5 years, MercadoLibre's revenue has grown at a 50.2% CAGR and its free cash flow at 57.6% CAGR. Net income has also grown very rapidly. This is truly a remarkable company. MercadoLibre 2025 financial forecast. Looking ahead, analysts are bullish, forecasting 2025 revenue to reach $26.29 billion, an increase of 26.53% from 2024's $20.77 billion, and EPS to grow 29.43% to $48.78 from $37.69. The average analyst price target is $2,519, with strong buy rating, suggesting a potential upside of 4.54% from current levels. Barclays raised its price target to $3,100, Benchmark set its target at $2,875, and Wedbush raised its target to $2,800. I generally agree with these upward revisions. MELI stock price performance and valuation. At the time this video is created, MercadoLibre stock price is $2,410 and has increased 40.3% over the past year, well ahead of the S&P 500's 9.2% gain during the same period. Over the last 5 years, the stock has surged 207.1%, more than doubling the S&P 500's 93.2% return. In terms of valuation, the company trades at a trailing 12-month TTM price to sales (PS) ratio of 5.52 and a forward PS of 4.45, while its TTM price to earnings (PE) ratio stands at 60.02 with a forward PE of 45.36. Additionally, the price to free cash flow (PFCF) ratio is a relatively attractive 18.93. Looking at the valuation over the past 3 years, MercadoLibre's forward PS ratio is slightly above the average of 4.13. However, its forward PE is below the average of 62.32, and its forward PFCF is also below the average of 34.65. Some might argue that this is reasonable because MercadoLibre is growing more slowly than in the past. However, even at a slower pace, the company is still growing rapidly, with revenue increasing more than 35% year over year. The growth story is not over yet, and the PFCF ratio suggests it is undervalued. MercadoLibre growth potential. MercadoLibre business growth is underpinned by several factors. 1. Low e-commerce penetration in Latin America. E-commerce penetration in Latin America remains in the mid-teens percentage of total retail sales, trailing the United States by nearly a decade. This gap indicates a substantial growth opportunity, with forecasts projecting the Latin American e-commerce market to expand by 54%, from $151 billion in 2023 to $232 billion by 2028. MercadoLibre is well positioned to capitalize on this growth, especially in the emerging retail media sector, where it leads the Latin American market by leveraging its large audience and rich first-party data. The retail media market in the region is expected to triple to $5 billion by 2028, although its share of total digital advertising will still be in the mid-teens percentage, compared to 18% in the US today. 2. Financial inclusion in Latin America. Mercado Pago, MercadoLibre's fintech division, plays a crucial role in advancing financial inclusion across Latin America by providing digital financial services to underserved populations. In Mexico, financial inclusion significantly lags behind Brazil, with only about half the population having a bank account and fewer than 20% owning a credit card, highlighting a large market opportunity. Mercado Pago has established itself as the leading fintech by monthly active users in Mexico, Argentina, and Chile, and ranks second in Brazil, leveraging its integration with MercadoLibre's ecosystem to offer digital accounts, credit, and payment solutions. Despite being the largest fintech acquirer in Latin America by total payment volume, Mercado Pago's relatively low market share in merchant services presents significant growth potential by attracting new merchants through loans and software tools that help manage and grow their businesses. 3. Strategic investments in logistics, advertising, and user experience. MercadoLibre's strategic investments in logistics have focused on increasing scale and improving efficiency, which have driven a year-over-year decline in cost per fulfillment order in key markets such as Brazil, Mexico, and Chile. These cost reductions have enabled the company to expand initiatives like free shipping, enhancing the overall customer experience by making deliveries faster and more affordable. Additionally, MercadoLibre broadened its advertising inventory by launching the Mercado Play app, which is now available on over 70 million smart TVs across Latin America, offering more than 15,000 hours of free content across mobile and TV platforms. This expansion contributed to a 26% year-over-year increase in advertising revenue, 50% FX neutral, leveraging the company's first-party data to strengthen its position in the growing digital advertising market in the region. Risks to consider. While MercadoLibre looks like a compelling investment, investors should be aware of potential risks. 1. Macroeconomic and currency volatility in Latin America. MercadoLibre's strong growth in Argentina during Q1 2025, with revenues more than doubling year over year, was significantly influenced by a low comparison base caused by the peso devaluation in late 2023. This currency depreciation had previously constrained economic activity, so the current surge partly reflects a rebound from those challenging conditions. However, concerns remain about the sustainability of this growth, as Argentina's macroeconomic environment shows signs of stabilization, including reduced inflation and easing of currency controls under recent economic reforms. Such stabilization, while positive for long-term economic health, could moderate consumer spending and credit demand, potentially impacting MercadoLibre's future revenue and profitability in the region. 2. Intense competition in fintech and e-commerce. MercadoLibre faces intense competition in Mexico, particularly in the technology and fintech sectors, where numerous players are aggressively vying for market share, especially major rival new holdings. In e-commerce, there are Amazon, Temu, and Shein that could become a major threat for the company. This competitive environment challenges MercadoLibre to continuously innovate and improve its offerings to maintain and grow its position in one of its most important markets. To address this, the company has committed to a historic $3.4 billion investment in Mexico in 2025, a 38% increase from 2024, aimed at expanding infrastructure, enhancing logistics, and improving digital solutions. 3. Credit portfolio quality and default rates. MercadoLibre's fintech arm has significantly expanded its credit portfolio, growing 75% year-over-year to $7.8 billion as of Q1 2025. This rapid growth highlights the company's strong push into financial services across Latin America. However, the default ratio for loans overdue between 15 to 90 days increased slightly from the previous quarter, reaching 8.2%. Although this represents a rise, the default rate is still lower than the 9.3% recorded last year. This indicates that while credit quality remains relatively stable, there are early signs of increased risk. As a result, MercadoLibre will need to maintain careful credit risk management to protect profitability going forward. Conclusion: MercadoLibre's Q1 2025 performance reaffirms its status as a leading player in Latin America's digital economy. With robust revenue and earnings growth, strategic investments in key markets, and a diversified service portfolio, the company is well positioned for continued success. While investors should remain cognizant of regional risks, the stock's strong fundamentals, growth prospects, and valuation make it a compelling investment opportunity. But remember, this is not a financial advice. What do you think about MercadoLibre? Are you buying, holding, or passing? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss my next stock analysis. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.